All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Boom, and welcome to the Big Honker Podcast, brought to you by Shin Gear, the best waders on the market. I'm Jeff Stanfield with the world-famous Andy Shaver.
Blake's wore his Shin Gear waders twice, and I guess he's already lost the waders, and he's curious if the Shin Gear warranty...
No, he lost the belt.
The belt. What did I say?
You said his wader. He lost the waders.
No, yeah, he lost the belt.
He hasn't lost those yet, but he will.
He will lose the waders, 100%, but he's already lost the belt. So
Blake is a living example
fashion
of Nebraska football. All fucked up.
Yeah.
With us today,
playing for next year,
from Tulsa, Oklahoma, the University of Oklahoma, my Washington Redskins, the punter, Tress Way. Tress, how are you doing, sir?
Man, thank y'all for having me.
We're excited to have you. Now, I am sorry because I am a Red Raider graduate, so... Listen, I don't have much to root for ever as being a Red Raider fan.
Spring sports.
Yeah, we're a spring school now, baseball, basketball. But I gotta rub it in where I can. We beat Texas and OU for the first time in school history.
Oh my God, that just ruined my freaking day. So yeah, that's a good way to start this off. Thank y'all.
What year did you graduate OU?
I played my last season. I played there.
So you played for
2012.
Stoops all 4 years? Did you see Toby Keith a lot on the sidelines?
All the time. That was just, man, you'd come right out of the locker room and he'd just be standing right there looking sharp as all get out. Every once in a while, had a nice little red Solo cup ready to roll. Never know what was in there. But yeah, I remember like my freshman year, I'm like, holy crap, that's Toby Keith there. How about that?
Was Heupel playing when you played there?
So Heupel was our quarterbacks coach and then finished as my offensive coordinator there, I think my last 2 or 3 years. And Venables was my defensive coordinator first 2 or 3 years. So you played,
both of those guys are, well, Heupel's doing a little better than Venables has done so far. It's not been a fun year to be an OU football fan for the first time in, 85 years?
So I think the crazy thing was, now granted, here's the deal. I went from playing to now I am just a full-blown, like, douche of a fan. Like I mean, any chance I get to wear the crimson and cream, I wear it every Saturday, wear it into the locker room, out to walk through to the team hotel, things like that. I saw somebody say this is the worst season of OU football, I think, since the year 2000 or something like that. It's been 20 something odd years and we're still going to a bowl game. So I just think that the Sooner Nation, it'll all come around. Like there was this mass exodus that freaking took place out to Southern California. So let's just regroup and get it going.
And like your worst year is like Tech's like best year. Like we're gonna go to a shitty bowl game, and it's just like we're happy. We're happy in Lubbock. Like take us to the toilet bowl. You can have a job forever in Lubbock, Texas.
Dude, I played at Tech. I want to say it was either my senior year or my sophomore year that it took place, where I'm walking out for pregame warmups, and all of a sudden this full bottle of Pepsi gets launched at me in the tunnel when I'm walking down to the field. And I just remember it like coming down, hitting by my feet. It didn't explode, and I just sat there going, somebody just wasted a perfectly good freaking Pepsi right there, man. Like these people are psychopaths,
so
man.
Is Tech a hard place to play? Because, we talk about it just as casual fans, but like, they had...
their record at home is outstanding.
Yeah. And I mean, it just seems like a ruckus place to play.
It is. And I mean this in a complimentary way.
Really?
It is hell on earth. Like it is such a tough place to play, man. You go there and listen, I know this is going to sound a little bougie, but when you play for the Sooners, you get some pretty 5-star treatment out there. Like it is top notch. Well, the hotels that, we get posted up at, they're awesome hotels. Not when you go to Lubbock. You go to Lubbock, you're staying at some random hotel and you're eating the hotel's food, and man, that's not good either. So you're like, you don't have that good of food going in the night before, the day of. You got people throwing full bottles of Pepsi at you. You don't know how many people are actually going to be in the stands, but the people that are going to be there are trying to ruin your life, and you sometimes are not going to freaking win there. That place is tough.
Well, one of my good friend, he graduated from the University of Tennessee. And I've never seen the stadium there, but I guess it's pretty impressive.
It's like a palace.
Well, he went to Lubbock, Texas one time, and he saw our little rinky-dink stadium, and he's like, "Oh, is that where Tex JV plays, or what do we got going on in there?" So they're snobby on the SEC side.
Yeah, seriously, man. I know we're about to join it here pretty soon, but hopefully we don't get the snobbies.
I had a question and I forgot what the fuck I was going to ask. It was about Texas Tech, and I have no clue what it was. As a punter, now I'm going to have some dumb punter questions. I know what I was going to tell you about being an OU fan or being an OU guy. I've got a lot of friends that are Cowboy fans, OSU, and them poor fuckers were 5-0, ranked number 8 in the country, and things were good. And Oklahoma was 2-3, and had just gotten the lips beat off of them by Texas. And all that's come around completely full circle for them, because now Oklahoma beat Oklahoma State. No matter what happened with Oklahoma the rest of the year, they beat Oklahoma State, and it stole all of Oklahoma State's thunder for the year.
That's right, and I'm glad that that's fine. The Red Raider fans, like Andy, you guys can have your year. That's fine. But I just love that in the worst season of Oklahoma football in decades, we still beat the freaking Cowboys. That's just good for the soul. And those fans know that. And that is just, I mean, they saw us get just shut out by Texas. We lose at Tech. I mean, just a rough year. And we beat Nebraska and we beat Oklahoma State. And those two fan bases just have to just let that one soak. And I love that.
You know, as much as I'm a Texas guy, Andy's Tech, you're Oklahoma, our life is so much more better. I've got 2 guys that work for me that are both Nebraska kids.
Yeah.
Absolutely a dumpster fire of a football program. And
forever. And like they were babies when Nebraska was at its height. So like
they don't even remember.
They don't even remember when Nebraska was good, but they're pretty sure they're Huskers fans. And
I've got a kid that works for me that's a Dallas Cowboy fan. He's 24 or 5 years old. He never even seen him win a fucking playoff game, I don't think.
That's right. That's right, man.
But it just probably. Okay, my question for a punter. Do you watch game film?
All right, so here's the deal with the game film is as a punter, I'm able to like read other punters pretty well. So my special teams coach, actually later on this afternoon I'm going up, I do like a whole field chart of the opposing punter we're about to play over his last handful of games, and just try and get his tendencies or what they like doing, how he likes punting the ball, whatnot. But as for me, I always tell people that I have been punting for so long now that I could punt in my sleep. Mm-hmm. So my goal is to try and sleep on the field, because the second I start trying to think too much or do this or that, then I'm just going to suck. And so I try and take all that out of it. So I do not watch film. I have my same sets of drills that I've done for years now, and I'm a big don't fix what ain't broken kind of guy. So I am definitely not your big technical guy to talk to on the punting. I just kind of drop it up high and let it fly.
Well, I wondered, though, if y'all had to watch film and stuff. I had one of my friends, his brother was a punter for the Redskins for a year or two, Hunter Smith. And he punted for Notre Dame and punted. I think he punted for the Colts for a long time. And I think he had a game he didn't even have to punt one time.
Hey,
yeah. He, man, I think Hunter Smith, I think our old long snapper, he played with Hunter, and I'm almost positive that it is Hunter that did this. But they played Chicago Bears when Devin Hester was like rolling, when he was at his just prime peak, could take anything back for a touchdown at any moment, and he just hit these little chip shots to the sidelines and only averaged like 30 yards a punt, like really short punts, but just kept putting them out of bounds, and he got a game ball because he kept it away from Hester, and they won the game. And so that I have heard many stories about Hunter.
A punter, you've got the best job in football.
I don't think so. I think you've got one of the hardest jobs, because don't most teams only carry one?
Thank you. Yes.
Well,
thank you.
Hold on now, Andy.
Now,
no one ever has watched a football game and blamed a loss on a punter. Ever.
I would argue that it doesn't happen often, but I bet that there is a punter that has lost a game. But you got to make it. The team's only going to carry one.
The kicker's the guy that's got the fucking pressure on him. First of all, most kickers are undersized guys. I think Justin Tucker's a pretty good sized guy, and there's some guys, but you really want to ride on an airplane with a bunch of fucking defensive linemen and shit after you fucked off and missed a 30-yard field goal to win a game?
Dude, that is a lonely spot to be in, man. I do not envy the kickers for sure. My favorite too is like, we'll be in DC, we'll go do some of these events. They'll have like this cocktail hour, and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, Tress, you're the punter for the Commanders." And yeah. And they're like, "Man, see, that's what I should have done. Like, if I had just practiced punting, then I'd have been in the NFL." Like, And so every time I look at him, I go, listen, man, you messed up. You absolutely could have. I was like, anybody could have done it if you'd have just. So don't rob my joy because you decided you wanted to play real positions. So don't piss in my cereal because you messed up.
So everybody thinks being a punter is easy, huh?
The easiest thing in there. Yeah.
That's the hardest job. Being a punter, though, is kind of like being an NFL coach, though. Once you get your foot in the door, it's pretty easy to get another gig, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's really cool. You guys will dig this. There's like this mutual respect with the specialists, the long snapper, the kicker, and the punter. And Andy, just like you were saying, dude, there's only one per team. Mm-hmm. So you got one snapper, one punter, and one kicker. Well, it's so hard to get in. And then once you crack it and you get your chance, then it's really hard to stay in. You just got to stay on top of your game. So it's really fun every single road game, or like when a team comes to play us. So like we're going to go play New York this weekend. We go play New York, and in the locker room after the game, the specialist will get us a 12-pack of beer for the flights home. And then whenever people come play our place, we'll get them a little 12-pack for the flights home. Just a little, hey, boys, like, best of luck to you. Good luck the rest of the way. And thanks for coming out.
That's badass. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, but once you're in. But I've always noticed that about NFL coaches. You can be a head coach, and you can absolutely freaking suck. And for some reason, somebody buys a team, and they think they need to hire you to change their team around.
That's right.
It just blows my mind, you know? Like Matt Rule was not very good at Carolina, but now he's getting $72 million to go to Nebraska, which he's a good college coach, though. I will give him that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
72 over 8.
Yeah, $9 million a year.
Now, because I thought I'd read that if he stayed out of coaching, Carolina would pick up the bill.
$48 million.
Why?
Correct.
What do we need the stress for?
He's making 72 now. He's making the third more money.
If you don't got to do shit.
That tech math isn't really working real good there for you.
You don't have to do anything.
Well,
that's what I'm saying. You just stay at home, you collect your check, and then you go get a job.
First of all, I'm going to say it right now here, and I'm going to be the first person because everybody's loving him in Nebraska. They will fire Matt Rule in 4 years because he will be 7-5 1 year, and that's not good enough for Nebraska. For they're another place, they think for some reason they're the Miami Hurricanes of 1991 or something again, and they're not.
Do y'all know is Nebraska on the same side as like Penn State, Michigan, and Ohio State, or are they on the other one with Iowa?
They're with Iowa and Wisconsin, and they can't even win that one.
Yeah, I know. So now you just got, was it Fickle? Fickle just went to Wisconsin.
Yes.
That dude seems pretty impressive too. But I mean, all you got to do is take care of that other side because Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan are going to beat up on each other. So I know. It's just bad that Nebraska's. I grew up Nebraska, Oklahoma. Like that was it.
Yep.
Like you don't watch anything else on the TV that day. Like you are all hooked on Battle of the Big Reds, and it's a shame that game's done. And then, this is coming from a dude whose team's 6-6 this year, but it's just been tough to see the downfall of Nebraska.
Oh, they're freaking horrible. But they got to beat Minnesota. They got to beat Purdue, Indiana, Iowa, and Wisconsin, and they can't win 6 freaking games. But they think that keep hiring new coaches all the time is going to make them a 10 or 12 win team, and they're not. They fucked up by going leaving Big 10. They should stay in the Big 12.
No,
that was a big mistake by them and Colorado. Both of them have been irrelevant since they left.
No doubt.
So my question, how much time do professional athletes have to hone their celebrations? Because some of these things, they're quite choreographed. And I'm thinking, what the hell are we doing here?
I have yet to see a punter do the Yeezy or whatever that fucking dance is that they do.
The gritty?
The gritty. White people should not do the gritty. First of all, that's a non-white move.
My son's been attempting the gritty, and he's not bad, but he's got to get a little bit more feel.
Yeah, it's not a good look for white guys. I saw a game the other day, and one of the offensive linemen for some team recovered a fumble, and he tried to do the gritty, and they were making fun of him on TV, and they had every reason to be. But do these guys practice this shit at practice? Do you see them off to the corner?
It is actually in the locker room. It's usually like a theme, like a new song that's coming out, a new dance that's coming out, a new thing to make fun of, or like things like that. And you kind of build up the theme all week in practice, and then all of a sudden somebody has the idea like, all right, let's give this a shot. If we score, we get a pick six or a fumble recovery. And so it is. I mean, hey, to each his own. Go for it. I tend to just scream freaking bloody murder and start high fiving my guys and headbutt. The first thing you got to do when you make a good play in football is you take your helmet off because everybody wants to slap you in the head. And I mean, I've taken a couple of hits this year, but usually I don't take any hits. And man, I take that helmet off so fast because then you get a coach like with the wedding ring too, and it's like bam, and it's like God.
Did you see Sean McVay get smoked by his own player? Biggest hit of the game.
I couldn't believe he didn't fall, man. I mean, Sean's a tough dude. But,
Yeah, he coached at Washington with y'all, didn't he?
Yeah, he's awesome, man. He was the OC for us. I think like my first 2, 3, or 4 years, and then Kevin O'Connell was the OC for us. He's in Minnesota, killing it right now. Like it's been cool to see some of those guys have their success and catch up with them when we play against them.
That's right. You played with the guy he stole my soul for a couple of years. Kirk, I'm going to screw this up in the fourth quarter. Cousins, who seems like a great guy, but he's not a big game player.
So I think Kirk's thing is his accuracy. I mean, I don't know, since I've been in the league, I don't know if I've seen a quarterback more accurate than Kirk. And he is so good about getting other people the ball and distributing and things like that. But man, like even in those big games, defense has heightened awareness of everything that they're going to try and do that week. Offense has heightened awareness. And so I feel like as a quarterback, it'd be so easy to always try and make a play that you never know. I mean, I think anybody, and I mean, this is to each his own, and I would encourage y'all with this as well. Anybody that, and it's all right as fans, I get that, wants to critique a NFL quarterback, go to a practice and watch ones versus ones, like move the ball and stand right behind the offense. I mean, it is like LA traffic, but fast paced. I mean, like I remember like my rookie year, second year, standing behind the offense because we were getting ready for like a 2-minute drive doing a field goal. And I just see everybody freaking moving all over the place and they're speaking languages that I don't understand and calling out plays that I don't know what's going on. I mean, I do not envy those dudes one bit, man. That is
they
crazy.
earn their money, and most of those guys are very, very smart, or they couldn't do what they do. There's no doubt about that.
Oh, yeah.
But
no doubt.
What they do get critiqued because it is a sport. And I'm going to tell you right now that in Denver right now, they have a lot of buyer's remorse on their trade for Russell Wilson.
That's been an interesting thing to see from afar.
And now Seattle's going to have the second or third pick in this year's draft also.
Wow, I forgot about that.
So not only did they take his money away from them, but they're getting a second or third pick in the whole NFL draft.
Yes, they are. I forgot all about that.
What is your off season like? Like, do you take a little bit of time off to just, recuperate and work on your body and stuff like that? Like when will you pick up a football once the season's over with?
Yeah, I wish I had a really cool answer for you. Like I really give my body a rest, but I think my body gets a lot of rest during.
Other than your leg, other than your one kicking leg.
Yeah. I wish I could be like, yeah, man, I really got to lick the wounds, and I kind of go into one of those hyperbaric chambers and sleep for 3 weeks because I need to recover. But I feel just the same as I did at the beginning of the season. So there's no difference there. But my first off season after my rookie year, I remember I just got done with my rookie season. Go back home. I wake up, take the dogs for a walk. I'd go work out. That was it. That was all I had to do that day. I didn't understand just the free time of what off season truly was. And so for us now, we got 3 kids. We got boy-girl twins that are 4, and then a 2-year-old little girl. Always having fun doing things. We go back home to Oklahoma in the off season with our family. Spend a lot of time trying to take trips out to California to see the in-laws. Do other little vacations here or there when we can. But man, the off season is really kind of pretty relaxing, other than just staying on top. In the NFL, you have a finable weight. You get fined if you are overweight. So I just continue to work out. They fine you $1,500 per pound per day that you're overweight.
How do these guys do it then? Yeah. Like Leonard Fournette came in overweight by a lot of weight.
He makes $6 million a year. That's how he does it. He pays a big fine.
He just pays it?
I guess
says
so.
The hell with it? Like these guys come in overweight all the time.
So typically this is some insider trading info here. The rumor is that of some of the big money guys that don't want to get fined, Usually there is a weight room intern or somebody kind of lower on the totem pole getting their foot in the door with the NFL organization. They're responsible for tracking the weights. Been known that some of the big money guys from time to time will flash that dude some cash and be like, hey man, I'll pay you this outright if you don't mark me overweight. And then they just go about their business. So I'm not to say who that is or when that has taken place, but I do know that some of those interns have probably cashed in pretty good there.
Driving a brand new Lexus and you're making $10 an hour. Let me ask you this. Speaking of the money, guys.
Well, hold on. Before we get off that, how do they decide what your weight should be?
So you agree on it with your coach. You agree on it with your strength coach. And they want it to be like competitive where you can't just totally let yourself go. Boys, I could let myself go during the season. I mean, the amount I run the conditioning test at the beginning of training camp, and then I don't run again until that next season's conditioning test. I mean, so I could let it go easy if I wanted to. So when you come to an agreement with your coach where it just help you stay on top of things. I mean, I know it sounds cheesy, but man, if you're taking care of your body like that, you just got a better chance of performing well, not getting hurt, and hopefully ends up winning some games. But that's something you agree on with your coach, and it's kind of just a line that you try and ride.
What do the big money guys now? It used to be a long time ago. You've seen a lot of flash, and I'm sure there's a lot of guys still flashing a lot of money around. But do the guys today with the financial advisors, do you see the guys that are a lot more responsible for their money than they used to be?
Yeah. So that man, our NFLPA is incredible, dude. With the things that they've negotiated for us of like the benefits and pensions and things like that. So they've done everything to really help kickstart that, to get everything going. And then I just feel like, I mean, things with like podcasts and things with YouTube videos and technology growing, people are learning more and more about that. But the thing that I never get tired of seeing, that I personally don't have any myself, but I enjoy watching other people do it, is the cars that come rolling into the parking lot. I mean, my dad bought me a 2008 Nissan Titan my senior year when I got a full ride scholarship to Oklahoma, and that puppy is sitting out in my driveway right now. I still drive that thing in there.
No shit.
And the most nervous I've ever been in the NFL was not my first punt, not my first practice, was I was backing into that parking spot my first day after making the team, and I have that little beep. There's no camera. It's an 08, but there's that beep when you're close to something. And I look in my right side mirror, and there's a Bentley on one side, and I look on this side, and there was a Rolls Royce on the other. And I thought, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna park here. I'm gonna go find another.
I don't want to get blamed for digging their fucking car.
Do you have the oldest car on the parking lot?
I think I do, man. I wear that proudly.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. That's smart. I'm sure your wife's not driving an 08 car, is she?
She is not.
There you go. That's where you're smart. That's the way it is in my household too.
I'll drive the jalopy, baby. You get the nice ride.
Hold on, I got one more thing about money. I'm going to ask you about a controversial thing that has to do with the Redskins or the Commanders or the team, whatever the hell they all are called nowadays.
I wish they would have kept the football team.
I like the
If
football.
you're going to change this, let's just stay with the football team.
The football team is better than the Commanders.
100%.
But the Redskins is by far one of the greatest names ever, and it should be still. My question is, who the hell came up with this Sean Taylor freaking statue bullshit they did?
Man, that is some of the stuff that we kind of find out the same time as fans. And so I do know, I believe that it was the 15th anniversary or 15th year, since he had passed, and they were really making, like a big thing out of it. I believe I saw a picture, but I've not heard any. Usually we catch it from the media or things like that. But man, I don't know. They do a really good job. And I say a good job. Everybody's very cordial, and we enjoy seeing everybody in the building. But they really separate our facility like in half, where you have the front office, you have anything outside of on the field, and then you got us, obviously, just the players, coaches, things like that. So, man, we just kind of find out all that stuff whenever the fans do.
Is that pretty common across the NFL? Like, just let's not, like, they got enough to do. Like, they shouldn't have to worry about what the front office does.
Yeah, I can't really. I'm very thankful to tell you that I've only played for Washington since I got in as a rookie, so I can't really compare what it's like otherwise. But I do know that there is always a general feel of like, hey, this is the quote unquote football side. And this is like, especially in season, maybe off season OTAs, way more just like, I don't know, like mixing all around and things like that. But man, during the season, you're just trying, like, they always say the days go by slow, but the weeks happen so fast. So you're just on to the next game, on to the next game, on to the next game.
So you did not see the statue
before?
I think I saw a picture, the one where it's the jersey and it's kind of like,
yeah, it's like someone didn't spend no fucking money. It's like, you know what, we got $10,000. Let's put a helmet and some cleats on him and call it a day.
Soccer cleats at that.
It was horrible. It was absolutely embarrassing.
The one that I have seen that I thought was really cool. I've never seen it in person, but I saw a picture of it, was where they have like his actual practice locker, like as it was sitting whenever he passed. But I have not. I think they were trying to do like a whole quote unquote experience of it. I have not seen it though.
Well, the experience is they should have just kept it under wraps and not showed it to nobody because it's embarrassing. Like the Pat Tillman statue, and Pat Tillman is a different situation than Sean Taylor was. But the Pat Tillman one at Arizona is a bronze outside, and it's really good.
Yeah, I have seen pictures of that one. Yeah,
but the Redskin one comes off like about our politicians, a bunch of cheap asses, is what it looks like right there. There's nothing there. I was really embarrassed by it as a Redskin fan.
It is DC. What's the dumpiest stadium that you have to go to? One where you're like, oh fuck, not this place again.
So I don't, as a punter, I don't particularly care much for the stadium itself, but it's the conditions, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're talking about, you just know you're getting the crap weather, and there's one that stands alone overall. Could you guess which one? You just know you're going to have to eat the frickin' sandwich and go.
Cincinnati.
No, worse.
Worse than Cincinnati?
Oh my gosh, worse.
Huh. Let me think. And it's just like the conditions, not so much the stadium.
Not the stadium. You just go there, you know it is just going to suck.
Cleveland.
Buffalo.
I should have guessed. They just had 6 feet of snow. They had to move a whole fucking game.
Dude, it is. I played there twice in my career, and the lowest amount of mile per hour that I played in there was 30 miles an hour.
So that's,
I hit a 19-yard punt, and I came off to the side of my coach. I go, I'm sorry about that. I'm not sure what else to do.
What is it? Is it just the wind gets in there and it whips everything around, or what?
I think they said it's Lake Erie. Lake Erie's right there,
right,
and it's just howling off of Lake Erie. So,
and I don't know. Josh Allen has to have a cannon to even throw in those conditions.
I mean, full blown cannon has. I mean, this is no disrespect to anybody that I've ever played with or things like that. That dude has the strongest arm I've ever seen.
Right.
It is ridiculous.
Well, and it's cold, so I'm assuming even just like holding the football is difficult, and much less getting an accurate pass off. And then you got the fucking 30-mile-an-hour wind that's swirling around in the stadium. Like
the worst too is I remember the last time we played there. I'm getting ready to punt, and there's an official that stands right behind me. Actually, I think there's two. Just to watch everything. And as you're getting ready to punt, you can just hear his freaking pants. And I'm like, yeah, this is
not going to go well.
I'm a big positive self-talk guy before the punt. I'm just thinking, you got to be freaking kidding me.
So Buffalo, I guess they're not going to dome it. They're just going to keep it. They're going to keep the new stadium open.
And I honestly think that, like, with the people there,
they're for that.
That's the move. We went there a couple of years ago, and I'm in Buffalo, so I wanted to get some buffalo wings the night before the game. So had a teammate who played college ball there. He told me where to go get the best wings. Go get some wings. I'm sitting there and I go, Miss, listen, I know that you guys are a big blue cheese area up here, but I'm from the South.
Ranch.
And she looks at me and she goes, you want ranch, don't you?
I do.
And I said, yes, ma'am. Now keep in mind, this girl looks like she could whip my tail. And so I go, yes, ma'am, I'd like some ranch. And she goes, I'll bring you your ranch. But if you dip one of our rings in that ranch, I'm announcing it to the whole sports bar, and they're going to boo you out of here. I kid you not, my first 5 wings, I would just hold the ranch like right here under my chin, and I would, she'd walk away, and I would just slide one off real quick, man. I was terrified. Yeah.
Where did you go?
It was called Elmo's.
Where did you go, Jeff?
Anchor.
Oh yeah, been to Anchor Bar too. Awesome. I think Anchor Bar claims to be the original.
I was not impressed with them at all. I thought Buffalo Wild Wings were better. They were crispy and dry.
Okay. I will tell you, Elmo's, if you ever go back, Elmo's is the spot. It's a little hole in the wall at a little shopping center, and they look like turkey legs. They're so big. They were massive wings.
I've got a guy.
Elmo's.
We've got a group from New York City hunting here right now, and the guy there, he's Field the Fork out on Instagram, giving him a little shout out. Anyways, he told me that go to Elmo's also, but I had to go to. I wanted to try the original place.
To do the original,
and it was horrible. I mean, it was absolutely horrible.
And it was jam packed. We had to wait. I was just underwhelmed. I think obviously you're pretty hyped up. You're going to the spot of the original buffalo wing. I will tell you, Elmo's is legit, and get you some Labatt Blue.
Yeah. So what's the city where you're like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna enjoy this, like whether it be cuisine or
New Orleans, I'm guessing.
Which one is it? What town is it for you where you're like, fuck yeah, we're going out that night?
Yeah. I'm probably either, I got two. One's a sentimental answer, and then the other one's just a straight up answer. The sentimental answer is probably Dallas, because my family goes down.
Yeah.
And I always get to meet up and get to go slam some Whataburger and hang out with them. See, my diet the night before the game is a lot different than, my teammates that, are finely tuned athletic machines.
Right. You're eating double meat cheeseburgers. Right.
Yeah. I want a double Whataburger with some fries and a root beer, and I'll be good to go. But the honestly, probably for cuisine wise, is got to be Philadelphia, man. Now, and I say that because I get to go there every single year. It is some of the best Italian food. And then after the game, we get legit Philly cheesesteaks wrapped in aluminum foil, cheese whiz, onions, mushrooms, whole shebang, onions and peppers. I mean, it's wonderful.
I screwed up at Philly. I was just telling this story not too long ago. I went to, my wife and I, we got married. We went to the Poconos and did all that shit. And probably, I don't know how we didn't get like AIDS and bed bugs from, the 1970s semen that's still on some of the mattresses at the Poconos. But anyway, we went there. We landed in Philly, and I wanted a cheesesteak. And we went to Pat's, and a school bus pulled up right before us. Well, they drop us off. We've got all of our luggage because we're going to be gone a week. We've got all of our luggage. We're in wherever the fuck Pat's is. They got pigeon crates on the sidewalk. It's madness. So I'm like, we gotta order, because we had to catch. We were going to New York from there, and I'm like, we're catching a train, blah blah blah. So we gotta order. This bus is gonna screw everything up. So I get up there, and the man that's taking my order says, "What do you want?" Well, I'm from the South. Like, we got, we're polite down here. Like, how can I help you, sweetheart, is what I'm used to. Not in Philly. What do you want? So I'm already taken back, and I don't know really what I want. Like, I don't know how to order the sandwich.
Andy's a nervous fella.
So I got the sandwich, but it didn't have any fucking cheese on it. It was just bread and meat. It was terrible. My wife's looking at my new wife, who worships the ground that I walk on. She's kind of, she's drinking a bottle of water as she's eating this bread and meat, and it was not a good way to start off.
It was a Philly steak sandwich, not a Philly cheese steak.
That's all it was.
It
was bad.
I went to Geno's, and my experience was great because I heard Andy telling this.
You knew.
So, I'm not one to get fucking pushed around by anybody anyway. So I walked up and I said, "Listen, I'm not from here. I don't know how exactly I want to order it, but I want a cheesesteak. I want cheese whiz on it. I want onions and peppers." "Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Nicest people in the whole world."
I told you how to order. That's why.
I went to Geno's. You went to Pat's. Completely different.
They were rude.
But the food is excellent. And for people that's never had a Philly cheesesteak, it is one of the best meals on a real Philly cheesesteak is outstanding.
It's unbelievable.
Yes. Absolutely amazing. So where's your go-to place in D.C.? Where's your place to eat there?
Yeah, so we got this. Our favorite date night spot is this place called Tuscarora Mill. Now, we're in downtown Leesburg in Northern Virginia, and man, it is just this old, like, it's just this old kind of cabiny feel to it. You got great seafood. You got great red meat. It's just, you could go there for the entire week and get something different. The appetizers are incredible. What's big out here for the appetizer is crab dip. And whole mama is theirs just so good. They got some bacon and seasonings and cheeses and things like that in there. But I would say that is definitely our go-to spot, man.
Is there now? Chris Kaiser, who got me in touch with you, is the FCA guy for Oklahoma. A great dude. And he's
awesome dude.
And he's a foodie also because he likes to eat. There's no doubt about that. Now, between your NFL jobs, you worked with the FCA and you road tripped with him a lot, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Has he ever seen a sandwich he didn't like?
Man, I'll tell you what, I think that was one thing he and I really bonded over was we could take down a sandwich at any time of day, at any point in the day. And so he and I, it didn't matter if we were stopping a quick trip or if we were passing through a Subway. I mean, whatever. We were sitting down to have a sandwich, man.
Now, he told me that at an Oklahoma sports banquet, and I want to I'm probably going to get this wrong, but you said that you went to a softball game where you met your wife and you were just checking out the smoke show in the right field. Is that right?
It was left field. Yes.
Left field, okay.
And had a borderline little stalkerish crush on the left fielder, and I decided to shoot my shot. You know, back in the day, whenever you would go up and just introduce yourself to the nice young lady and didn't have to slide into any DMs or anything like that. So thankfully she gave me the time of day. But yeah, definitely outkicked my coverage on that one.
And I heard Daddy was a pro baseball player, right?
Oh, yeah. Wiffle ball playing with my wife's family. It's a whole new level. I thought my family was competitive. Oh, my God.
That's where you run the greatest risk of probably getting hurt is at these damn wiffle ball games, family wiffle ball.
No question, dude. And they are ruthless, too. Like, Lord forbid you strike out. I mean, they're going to remind you for the next decade.
So your wife, she's a better athlete than you?
No question. You guys will dig this. I call it the Big Six. All right, so bear with me. The Big Six. Number one. My wife played 2 sports in college. I did not.
Yeesh.
Number 2, my wife was first team all conference. I never got that. My wife was an All-American. I was never an All-American. My wife was a national champion. I was not a national champion. My wife was drafted to play professional fast-pitch softball. Did you guys even know that there's a pro? No. But she was drafted in the 3rd round, and I was an undrafted free agent. And then my favorite one, number 6, when I was an undrafted free agent to the Chicago Bears and she was drafted to the Akron Racers, she had a bigger signing bonus than I did. She signed for $10,000. I signed for $3,500.
So your first real check in the NFL was your first game check then, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. First, whenever I got that first, they didn't do direct deposit at the time. Like they had to give you like 2 or 3. And then after like 2 or 3 cycles, it'd be direct deposited. I remember getting my check, and I just sat in my truck for what felt like 4 hours, and I just stared at it. And I'm like, I think this is real. Like, I think I can go deposit this, and it's mine now. Yeah.
What was your first check? How much was it?
Oh, man, let me think here. Okay, so I was making league minimum my rookie year. It was $420. And back then, we only got paid 8 times. So I bet it was right around
30,000.
But it was probably pretty close to 20, 22.
Oh, I figured it'd be more than that. They tax the shit out of you then.
Oh yeah, we between our agent, federal, state, and NFLPA dues, you can pretty much kiss about 52 to 54%. See ya. We keep about 46.
So
Jesus.
The agent gets a check. When you get a check each week, your agent gets a portion of that goes straight to him.
So how it works with agents is they'll do invoices like for a certain amount of time. So now that we get paid, they changed our pay scale where we're paid all the way through the off season now. So oftentimes you just get an invoice up to the new year, and then from the new year out to the rest of the off season. So it's just you can pay the invoice whenever you want.
A friend of mine, he plays golf a lot with what was his name? He was the punter for the Bengals for a long time.
No, it was the kicker, Mike Nugent.
Okay,
huge.
Yeah. I guess when he was playing, they got paid 8 times. They got paid every other week, and he said it is amazing. Some of the people will be just rolling in it one week, and then the next week that they don't get paid, they're like you hear them in the locker room like we're having McDonald's this week. Like they blew their entire fucking check.
That's why they changed the. And I don't mind what the NFLPA did. I knew what they were trying to do because now we get paid every 2 weeks all the way until mid-April. And then mid-April, you report again for workouts, and you're just getting paid for your workouts. They're not like your in-season checks. But now you're getting paid year round by the team. And so, I mean, I don't blame them for doing that for that exact reason. Because think about this. Those dudes that you're saying 1 week this, next week McDonald's.
Right.
Well, January, the checks are done. So you have all of January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September is the next time you get a game check. So I'm just venturing to say it was not probably being taken care of how it could be.
So I did not know that. When did they do this? The NFLPA to where they get last year was it? Oh my God!
It was first year. Yeah.
Can you imagine how many?
There's a lot of broke ass people in March and April.
Can you imagine how many fortunes were just like squandered up until?
Yeah, because a lot of the guys were pissed off because they were like, "No, I want big chunks of my money how it always has been, and this and that." And what ended up happening was they had statistics on some of our guys across the league were taking out these predatory loans to just get up to the next season. And I mean, it's just they're just trying to help, man. Like, and I guys can be all pissed off that the NFLPA is doing that. They're just trying to get dudes to try and be smarter and do the right thing. And I mean, I don't mind it, whatever.
Too many people live way above their means. I'm one of those that does it. I spend my money I make. But these guys, but what they don't understand is I'm in a career where I'm going to have next year and the next year, and I hope forever because I've built a business. These guys here don't realize what's the average football player playing in the NFL 3 years?
It is, yeah, it's 3.
And the average, what's the NFL minimum now? $500,000, $600,000?
Yeah, I bet you're right. I bet it's around 6.
So $600,000. Well, you're an undrafted rookie free agent, linebacker, defensive back, whatever you do, and you're making $600,000 a year. That's a lot of freaking money to these kids that most of them grew up
that
with
are 22, 22 years old.
So they spend.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, they spend $300,000 the first year because that's what they made, and they think it's going to be there forever. They don't realize that's not 40 years of getting that kind of income. You're on a 3-year scale, maybe. If you bust your ass and pull the Kenny Galladay and you get the mega second contract, because you ain't ever going to get a third one, you're done when that one's up too. So you gotta be smart with your money, and most of them aren't. And this sounds horrible, but it's true. Most guys in the NFL come from nothing financially. Most of them are poor kids that grow up with not a lot. And I don't think I'm being rude by saying that, but I think that's probably very accurate. You know,
they did a really cool thing where they showed. There's about 5 or 6 guys on each team that they have made or are going to make so much in their NFL career that they are not going to have to change their lifestyle or work again. They're 5 guys out of 53 don't have to change a lick. Then you got about the next 70, 80% of guys that you have been given this great head start in life. So start setting things up, start being ready like for the next thing after football, and you'll never have to be worried, but you will have to change up your lifestyle and you may have to go start another career. But man, you've given yourself this great head start. And then they said there's that last 20% of guys that you are playing 3 years or less. And they said that of the 5 guys that don't ever have to work or change or anything like that, the other 48, he goes, where the other 48 get in trouble is they try and live like those 5 guys that have the cars, the houses, the things like that. And they're trying, but man, like, I think you're right, dude. I just think it's just a matter of, man, how you're raised or where you come from. It just, when you're in it, I mean, it feels like it's never going to stop. And it's hard. It's very unnatural to try and be safe and smart the other way.
Well, I think for people that, and even for somebody like me that was always comfortable as a kid, like we never, struggled or anything like,
Oh, we did. You just didn't know it.
We didn't have eviction notices and cars getting towed away, but like, we were okay.
Yeah.
Some of the amounts of money that are now just thrown upon these kids, they think that there's no way that I could ever spend that much money. But
That's right, man.
There's also a YouTube series that I think it was on YouTube. It doesn't matter. But it's NFL players talking about how they spent their first $1 million. And I mean, it's guys that get these insane signing bonuses, and they're talking about the cars and the jewelry and the houses that they buy for their mom and their sisters, and
I think Shaq blew his first.
All these hangers honors, and I mean you can blow it very, very easily.
No doubt, man.
How about you take the money aspect of it? Some of these kids now are going to be taking a pay cut going to the NFL from playing at Alabama or Texas A&M.
Right.
And, that's
I know, man. We've been talking about that. See, in my college career, playing against Tim Tebow, RG3, Johnny Football, like all these guys. Those dudes would have made a killing with the NIL deals,
Yes.
man. I know we've been talking about that in the locker room.
You know who I feel sorry for the most is the big chick that plays at Oklahoma, the big bruiser that plays softball, the one that crushes the ball everywhere. I can't think of her name. The Hawaiian. What's her name?
Jocelyn Allo.
Okay. She's never ever going to be able to make the amount of money she made this year playing pro softball, unless there's some pro softball series out there I know that's paying big money for a player.
Right. I know. Yeah, that is. I mean, it is interesting to see, like, with that NIL. We heard for years that they were talking about doing it, and now they're doing it. I don't know how they're going to police it. I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah, and schools are on probation for doing exactly what they're letting them do now.
Exactly.
I mean,
yeah.
It's nuts. And we had a kid on football, Jackson Lavender. He's going to SMU. He's going to be a receiver. He's a freshman. Going to be a freshman next year. And we asked him about the NIL, and he really didn't go into details because I don't think he knew. And now SMU has a fund set up, and every college athlete that plays football or basketball at SMU is going to make $38,000 a year.
50.
Is it $50,000 a year?
I thought.
Okay. Every kid that plays football at SMU is going to get a $50,000 salary. Well, there's a lot of kids out there. They're going to be making more money than their moms and dads are.
Fuck yeah. I mean, you're going to make more than a teacher in Texas. High school.
Yep.
I mean, your high school coach, you're going to play at SMU, you're automatically going to make more than he does.
I think the transfer portal and I think the NIL are going to screw up college football. I think it already has.
I know I hope they find a way to start policing that, man. It's definitely seems like it's gotten out of hand.
Okay.
It is 36. It's 36,000. So
have you played,
you're going to make the same as your high school teacher.
Yep. So you've played against Lamar Jackson a couple of times, right?
Yeah.
He reminds me of a high school quarterback, the best athlete on the field and the fastest guy. Is he a good sized guy or is he not very big?
Yeah, he definitely is like the size of a professional athlete. Like when you see him, it's like, yeah, he's a pro athlete. It's not like he's undersized by any means, but it's like his style. Like he's like maybe a little bit thinner, and he's very fluid, very fast. Man, when he is on, like when he's throwing the ball well too, and like because I feel like he's a momentum guy. When he's throwing the ball well, it just gets better, and he is tough, man. Holy smokes!
Well, see, I didn't know how big he was. I walked by Mick. I was in Vegas one time, and Michael Vick walked by me, and Michael Vick's not a big guy.
No, yeah, he's sneaky, man. He was at the Pro Bowl the year that I got to go. He was like one of the NFC captains, and I was just pumped. I'm like, holy crap, Michael Vick's one of our captains. That's pretty sweet. And I just remember seeing him like, and of course, when he's on the field, the plays he makes, he's just unbelievable. But yeah, just in street clothes, just seems like kind of a normal dude. But man, he could play some ball.
What year was this?
2019.
2019. Now they're changing up the Pro Bowl, aren't they?
There is no Pro Bowl no more.
Yeah, it's like punt, pass, and kick now this year, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I don't know. I mean, what was your attitude towards that? Like, I'll go once and that's good enough for me?
Yeah, so just getting to go, dude, that was so cool. I mean, playing in the playoffs is the best feeling in the NFL. I mean, you punch your ticket, everybody else is done.
Mm-hmm.
And like you punched your ticket, it's win or go home. And that feeling in the NFL, there's no games being played at multiple games being played at the same time. You're the only game on in TV. You just know everybody's watching playoff football. But dude, the Pro Bowl is, I mean, that was definitely something special to be a part of, and I'm thankful that I got to do it. Yeah.
The Pro Bowl was really a cool deal in the 70s and 60s. It was big because those players weren't making a ton of money then. The NFL was sending a player and his wife or his girlfriend and his wife to Hawaii, paying them extra $50,000, which was a lot of money back then, to play in the game. Teams were no problem with it. Now you're paying a guy $45 million to play quarterback. Do you really want him playing fucking quarterback in a game that don't mean shit? No, right. I wouldn't do it either.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I could see where I would want to go once.
I can see why the players want to go, but I can see why the teams don't want. I wouldn't want my player I wouldn't want my punter going to play in the Pro Bowl and get a chance of getting hurt.
Yeah, I think what they're doing now with I think it's like a whole bunch of skills competitions, and it finishes with like a flag football game. I think that there's a chance that that's going to be pretty cool because it's going to be all these little trick plays and guys that don't have to play hard, but they're still the best players on the planet. And then hopefully they bring back those things like whenever you used to see Brett Favre doing the long throw competition, like Yeah, just do that fun stuff. Do long field goal competitions for the kickers, or pump, pass, and kick for the punters, and whatever. Like, but hopefully, I'm anxious to see how it goes this first year, because yeah, the game itself had been a joke. The experience was awesome. They roll out the red carpet. I got to go when it was at Disney World, and the things they do for you, like you and your family, it was tops. It just once in a lifetime experience.
So, can you still punt barefoot, or did they outlaw that?
I just don't think anybody does it because it's dumb.
Yeah, it fucking hurts.
Why did they? Who started that? Number one,
Some kid didn't have no shoes growing up.
Is that? I mean, I think one guy said like he has more control over the ball or something like that barefoot. But it's like it's 7 degrees at Lambeau. Put your fucking foot. Put your shoe on.
It was a kid from Arkansas. God dang it, they didn't have shoes.
I guess
That's exactly what the problem.
I'm sure that they could do it if they wanted to. I would venture to say you're never going to see anybody ever do it again.
I mean, it's the dumbest thing ever. Like, how did we even go down this rabbit hole?
Did you see Justin Tucker try to kick the 67-yard field goal the other day?
Yeah, man.
Would you have been shocked if he made it?
No, it's freaking Justin Tucker.
Yeah, he's
dude.
a badass.
He is just ridiculous, man.
Did you ever kick field goals or anything like that in
That's how
your
it started out.
high school?
That's how I started out. So growing up, I kicked field goals and got recruited as a place kicker. Coach Stoops saw me as a punter, and I kind of sucked in college. I was 1 for 6, so that was short lived as a field goal kicker. But it turns out I could punt all right. So I could kick in a pinch if I need to, but yeah, I'd much rather punt it.
What? See, I don't understand, because college the hashes are wide.
Yeah.
So, like, you're way the hell out there.
Yes.
That seems harder to me than in the NFL when it's, like, shrunk down. Is it
Yeah,
not?
See, thank you, Andy. That's why I was 1 for 6, was because of the hash marks. They're too tough. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you for addressing that. I didn't want to make the excuse, but since you said it, yes, I think that is it for sure.
Were you devastated when he told you weren't kicking field goals anymore?
Was it a demotion?
It was not a demotion, because my redshirt freshman year, I just burst onto the scene and had a great year. And so I really liked punting. I was like, man, all right, sweet. And I came from this big juggernaut high school playing high school football, where I think my senior year we punted 12 times. So I just never really practiced, and I just did it because I was the kicker. And so I had some success my freshman year of college, and I really liked it. So whenever I stopped kicking field goals, I think it was my sophomore year, I was officially done. I really enjoyed it. I'm cool with punting.
Did you see, I guess Pat McAfee said he lied to the owner of the Colts because they asked him if he could also place hold. He's like, yeah, absolutely, no problem. And then he got drafted by the Colts, and he's like, Vinatieri calls him. He's like, man, I gotta be honest with you. I can't. I've never done it before. I was just trying to get a job. So he's like,
Dude, I love McAfee. That dude's a freaking legend, man. He is just, and I don't doubt that for 1 minute. He is so damn funny.
He's like, yeah, I can do that. That's no problem at all. I got experience doing that. He's like,
I'll figure that out.
I don't have any experience.
He's made punters cool, I guess. So,
he started it for sure.
Everywhere you go, do you get recognized on DC?
No, I don't. My name does. Just I've got a really unique name, obviously. So my name does a lot. But it's a really good amount that I get noticed, because it's not often, right. But when it happens, it's somebody that either really knows the team or knows me, and so it's a little bit more special. But it's not just like we've gone out to eat with Carson Wentz and his wife, and going anywhere in public with them, man. That's just tough, dude. That's got to be exhausting. So I'm very thankful that my experience is a fun one with the fans.
Carson's one of those 5 guys that's never going to have to worry about money the rest of his life.
I think he would venture into that category. Yeah. Yes.
Quarterbacks kind of take care of that themselves.
They have kind of been trending that way for sure.
Yeah. Does y'all are in an unusual situation, because Taylor Heineke has really, really solidified probably his starting role for the team. That's got to be tough for someone like Carson to have to deal with that, because of the fans and everything. That's a hard thing.
Yeah, and what gets lost in that, and rightly so, it's just part of the game. You got to, it's all about winning games and trying to make playoff runs. I mean, Carson is so competitive. I mean, we have this game against the Bears where we're kind of solidifying our identity that we're going to run the ball down people's freaking throats, and we're going to smash them on defense. Well, and he gets hurt against Chicago.
Yeah.
So we find this identity on a Thursday night cold and windy game in Chicago. And then the games after that, while Carson's recovering from his injury, Heineke wins a few games. And you can't argue the momentum that was found after that. So now it's one of those things. I do not envy being a coach in that moment where you have a guy who was the clear-cut MVP back in like 17 or 18 before he got hurt, and you talk about a cannon for an arm. Carson is unbelievable. Like, the dude is so dang talented. Now you're also winning game. I mean, it's just this giant just cycle of facts and feelings and things like that. Man, I do not envy making those decisions, man.
Do Thursday night games suck as a team, or are you just like, I got no days off this week? We get.
And I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah, my heart goes out to the fellas that are just banged up after games. I mean, like you see guys after games and they're just hurting. Mm-hmm. I mean, man, like I got hit once by Philly and I thought I was gonna break. And so these hit every play and every game, and then you got to turn around and play game 3 or 4 days later. The good news is you get somewhat of a short little bye week right after that. Like, you get a few days off, but it is tough, man. Like, adrenaline is a wonderful thing. You get fired right back up and get going that night, but it is tough, man. It's tough to see.
It's got to be a tough week.
Y'all are in a playoff race. You're playing the Giants this week. Giants are the NFC East is probably the best division in football now.
Man, that's something.
It's going to be the worst, but now it is probably the best. You got Giants got a good young team. They got a lot of questions on their future because are they going to bring back Daniel Jones? Are they going to pay Saquon $25 million a year, whatever it is? Y'all are starting to get your identity. You're running the ball. You're 6-1 in your last 7 games. If y'all beat the Giants, y'all pretty much are solidifying a playoff spot. I mean, there's a lot of football left, but whoever wins this game is going to have a good head start at getting in the playoffs for sure.
Yeah, one of my buddies told me, I think he sent me a picture that if the season ended today, all 4 teams of the NFC East would be in the playoffs.
That's right.
That is crazy. I remember they called us like the NFC least a year or two ago. And like now that's just these, but it is going to be, man, it is going to be fun. These next three games, New York, San Fran. I mean, playing the next 3 games are playoff teams because it's New York twice and then at San Fran. Dude, this is what you really hope for. It sounds cheesy, but it's what you really hope for when you start the season is come November and December playing meaningful games. Like they always say, the playoffs start before the playoffs start. And so like it's on right now.
Well, y'all got, I don't know who somebody, I guess Dan Snyder does have somebody who likes him in the commissioner's office because y'all get the Giants and then do y'all have a bye week? And then you get the Giants again.
Yeah.
That's nice.
I mean, that's horrible for the Giants.
Right.
I mean, I just think if we can take care of the Giants at MetLife this weekend, go on a bye, and then they come to our place. I mean, those fans and FedEx has just been, man, it's been getting a little bit more rowdy the more that we're winning. And I just think if we can take care of the Giants this weekend, come back in 2 weeks and have them at our place, man, I like that. It's a lot of fun playing there when those people are getting nuts.
Well, you also have at that same time, if y'all could go to it, if you win one of those games, Seattle's got to play Tampa Bay, and I don't think Seattle can beat Tampa Bay. Y'all are going to have a 2-game lead. The worst person in the East is going to have a 2-game lead on Seattle for the last playoff spot.
Yeah, it's always interesting having a late bye week whenever you're doing what you can as a team to take care of business. Then you get to take a week off and hopefully let everybody beat up on each other and then come back to the action. So that when we saw that initially at the beginning of the season, we were like, golly, that's a late bye week. And now it's kind of a sweet little blessing in disguise. So
for you, where is that sweet spot of a bye week? Is it like around 8, 9, 10, right around there? Or do you like, are you liking this?
Depending on the number of Thursday night games or Thursday games that you have, typically the sweet spot's right in the middle. Yeah. 8, 9, or 10. But, we had that Chicago game pretty early in the year, had a little mini bye week, then had a long stretch, and then got this bye week coming up next weekend. So typically the honey hole's just right in the middle, give you a nice little mental and physical break, but that's not up to us. We just get dealt whatever it is.
Yeah. Is Micah Parsons as impressive in person as he is on TV? And I hate the Dallas Cowboys, but he's amazing.
He is freaking ridiculous, man. He is just, and you just know where he is at all times. Like he's just in your head, man. It's like, oh, there he is right there. Here he freaking goes.
So my dumb question for the day is there a punt returner that has kind of that Devin Hester feel that you're like, oh, we're not kicking to him. I don't care who it is. Like, we're going to avoid him.
Yeah. I will say now what all these freaking dynamic college kids coming out, they're trying to make a name for themselves as returners, just pisses me right off. And I always talk to them pregame. I'm like, hey man, I was like, just fair catch, anything you want today. All right. You can like, oh Tress, I can't do that. I go, yes, you can.
Right.
Yes, you can. Just chill. Like, it's all good.
You don't have to make a name for yourself against me.
But I think the last time, and just about anybody that's back there is just so dynamic. Like, the names I've gotten to punt against is just crazy, from like Tyreek Hill to Devin Hester. But him being in our division for so long, the scariest was always Darren Sproles, man. Sproles was he was so tough. He was so strong. You couldn't see him. He was so short in the mix back there and didn't fair catch a freaking one, man. He was psychotic.
So, Tyreek Hill he's running punts back for Miami some, isn't he?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
They'll throw him back there every once in a while. It's all dependent upon like the play too. Like, it's all schematics of whenever they got a punt. It's 4th and 25. They ain't running a fake, so you gotta like try and take advantage of some field position. And Tyreek's so dangerous, but I'm with you. That's an expensive dude back there returning punts on a high contact play. So
do y'all have any fake?
It's wide open whenever you make contact.
Yeah. Do y'all have any fake punts that you get did you practice very often?
So there's kind of like the go-to number of fakes that every team does, where obviously in a punt formation you can only throw it to 3 or 4 different guys. But I've done 2 fakes in my career. One was an out route and one was a fade route, and both of those everybody knows that they're on film. So it's just kind of one of those. Every time we play a punter who has thrown a pass, we watch countless number of reps of him throwing, and it just, you got to have your antennas up because it could be coming at any time.
It's the kid for the Rams that does a lot of fakes, right? Hecker?
Yeah, he's actually now with Carolina, but yes, it's him. That dude. He played. His story's cool because I think he went to Oregon State as a quarterback and was watching the special teams period, and the punters were punting. And he goes up to the coach. He's like, "Hey, coach, I punted in high school, and I'm pretty sure I'm a lot better than that." And then he comes on to Oregon State, just starts launching rockets all over the place, and now he's arguably the best punter of all time. I mean, the dude's unbelievable.
When you see the play that it starts to kind of break away, and you're like, "Oh God, I'm gonna have to try to tackle this guy." Is that the worst feeling in the world?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
It is. Because you have myself, where maybe on the wiffle ball field or on the cornhole boards or the ping pong table, I can look pretty athletic. But when you put me on a football field 53 yards wide and you have somebody like Tyreek Hill in front of me, you can't out athlete that guy. So yes, in my head, I try and just, oh my God. And I either try and grab a shoelace or slow him down so my real athletes can go tackle.
Because, I mean, it's just like, what am I going to do? Like, here, he runs the 4.2. He's the only guy in the league that does this. Like, he's the only guy that's that fast. Like, maybe I can run him out of bounds, hopefully.
That's exactly my head.
What gets me is the punters that are really good that are all center out. The kid that played for Pittsburgh, the black kid that was the punter. He was the toast of the town for a while.
Presley Harvin, he can hit you now.
And he's gone now, right?
I think he's still there.
No, who's the kid that was there or with the Raiders?
Oh yeah, Marquette King.
Yeah, whatever happened to him?
He's playing for Coach Stoops and the Arlington Renegades for the XFL.
I think,
but he was a big time NFL player at one time. I thought really good. He pissed. Did he piss somebody off?
He was definitely a top notch talent. I know that he had a couple of things when he was with the Raiders that the organization was not a big fan of. Maybe the things that he was saying about coaches and things like that. And that's, I mean, if you go down that path, that's a little tough. Like you gotta stick with your guns a little bit. But I don't know. He was sure talented for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
I figured it was something personal matter. Kind of like the Cam Akers deal. I don't know what Cam Akers did for 2 or 3 weeks. The Rams tried to trade him. They wouldn't even let him come to the practice facility. Now he's starting running back again. So
yeah. What are your plans for the bye week? Do you have any? Will you just kind of chill there, or will you go back to Oklahoma for the week?
You know, with us being in the middle of the playoff run, we'll probably try and get away for a few days, maybe go see the family, maybe try and hit the beach for a quick turnaround and come right back. But I think this week we'll get our schedule from coach, and a bye week late in the year while you're in a playoff hunt and playoff spot, it's definitely a little different than most bye weeks.
Yeah, probably kind of ruins it for you. Not as carefree.
It's like, I mean, ruins it would be a tough way to say it, because, dude, when you start the season, this is where you want to be. Like, you want to be going the playoffs are the bomb.
Right.
But, like, the bye week really just means I want to sit, chill, pop a top, and watch the other guys play ball while I don't have to. So
right. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. What so it's Tuesday recording this. What's the schedule like for you the rest of this week?
Rest of this week, got a couple of workouts, particularly Gun Show Friday. Not allowed to wear sleeves into the weight room on that day. That's always a nice. So we'll have a couple of workouts, a bunch of film, and high readiness, high alert, high emotions going into the Giants game into MetLife, man. It's going to be another week of practice, but playoffs start before the playoffs start. So
that's exactly right.
Well, you've done a great job of being on here, man. Hail to the Redskins. We appreciate you being here. If you ever get back to Oklahoma when hunting season's here, you and Chris need to come on down to the lodge. We'd love to have you here. Or you can hang out.
Man.
Case Keenum's your big hunting buddy. Bring him out here.
Man, that'd be awesome. Thank you, guys. I had a blast chatting with y'all.
Yes, sir. Good luck the rest of the way. I hope you stay healthy and continue off in the playoff hunt, and go Red Raiders.
Thank you, buddy. Boomer soon.
Thank you, Tress.
Take care of yourself, bud. Bye.
Interesting guy. What a cool job, man.
That's right.
You don't get beat up. Longevity.
You could. But do you want to have your leg up above your head and up 2 feet in the air and some 250-pound guy is going after your knees?
Porn stars do it all the time. Nobody bitches about them.
I don't want to do that at all. That sounds like a terrible way to go. I'd rather get blasted blindside than be vulnerable like this up in the air and having a 250-pound defensive lineman just.
I'd rather be $1 million a year punter for about 10 years. Be perfect.
I like my legs.
I got to get to town.
Oh, yeah. You got court, don't you?
Yep.
You got to go judge people.
Yep.
All right. Bye, everybody. Go check out our sponsors. Listen, there's a couple promo codes you need to be aware of. Dirty Duck Coffee. Use the promo code Big Honker for 15% off or save 20% by signing up subscription. Ducks Unlimited, Double T British Kennels, Pacific Calls, BHP 25, save 25% off. Dive Bomb Industries, Boss Shot Shells, Mossberg. Gundog Outdoors, Shin Gear Waders, Lucky Duck, Looking Glass Podcast, Hunt Proof App, Alpha Outdoors, Bangtail Whiskey, and Stanfield Hunting Outfitters.